Yo, what up, y'all? This Ibrahim, also known as Eve, all the way over here from Dreamville, and we're here on Soul Connection.
What's good, world? This is Max Resitor from SLAMKICKS. You're watching the Soul Connection. Today, I got an interview with a man who only needs 2 letters to be introduced. The one and only Eve. He's been by J. Cole's side ever since they met each other at St. John's University here in New York, and we chopped it up about the PUMA RS Dreamer, about working with Cole, and about dreams in general. So let's see what he has to say. First thing I want to know, Eve, do you know the etymology of dream?
No, I don't, but I think that I'll tell you what a dreamer means to me, because I think everybody's gonna interpret it differently and look at it differently. But for me, it's just someone that doesn't allow things or people or energies to get in the way of what they want to do, or what they want to accomplish, whether small or big. Things that people think that maybe you have no business doing, or things that people don't believe in you in, but you just keep going through it. That's kind of like what the dreamer has always been, to me, and just from my own life, or really, also from the people around me, my friends and family. I've been able to see those traits, and kind of like that, that makes me gravitate towards people, because I've always had the utmost respect for people that just kind of can put their head down and be like, I don't care what you say, I don't care what she says, what he says, what they believe. I don't care if it seems ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna go get it done, and that's kind of what a dreamer is.
So, man. So just to give you the background, dream in the 13th century, it used to mean music.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right?
Because we come from music. But yeah, that's dope. That's a nice. I'm gonna remember that one. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket and act like I knew about it. That's dope.
The reason I asked that is because you just talked about dreams on a spiritual and intellectual level, but this is also a dream. Having your own sneaker. So when was the first time you got to hold this dream in your hands?
So I think it's one thing that with Cole, it's like anybody that knows him, he's like he thinks so far ahead. Like, I remember years ago when he was like, man, I'm gonna have my own basketball sneaker. And I used to be like, that sounds crazy, but I never doubted it, because I know that he's the ultimate dreamer. You know what I mean? Out of anyone I've ever known. Like, I've never seen anyone that could like really set his mind to things and get it done, even when it seems ridiculous. Even from when we went to college and he was like, I'm gonna get signed, and people was like, yeah, whatever. So I think the idea was flowing around for him for so long that, by the time it happened, and it was like, you see that logo, and you hold the sneaker, and you kind of like looking like, damn, this guy really set his mind to it. It was more the feeling of like, obviously the sneaker's incredible, it's a beautiful sneaker, but it's the feeling of like the journey. When you hold that sneaker for the first time, it's the journey of like, man, you really believe, you really set your mind to it, and you really told yourself like, nah, this is a goal of mine, because to us, everything we've ever done, as through, whether it's Cole's career or Dreamville or anything, our films, our music, anything, like we're a storytelling company. You know what I mean? Like, we tell stories, and we tell stories that really, we try to tell the stories that are going to connect with people on a level, on an emotional level, or just a level where they feel like, man, that's me, that's my story. And that's what that sneaker was. Like, that was another avenue for us to tell stories, and another avenue for us to connect with people, through shoes that are really telling the story of what the dreamer is to us, and that everyday dream.
So with all that in mind, was there ever any discussion to name it something other than the dreamer?
No. Nah. Like, I think Cole knew it from the jump. He was just like, because that was his decision. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that's his thing, and I'm there to help, navigate it, help him, make decisions, and we'll talk about different color schemes and whatever help he needs from me on the design. but it's his creation, and I think he knew from day one, like Dreamer, like he had that name for years now because he knew that's who he is, and that's what the sneaker represents. So I think that was the aspect that like there was no other names. If you know, there was just the Dreamer. That was it.
That's dope, man. So you've mentioned storytelling a bunch now. What's the difference in storytelling through music narratively and storytelling through sneakers narratively?
That's a good question. I think through music, you you with Cole, it's easy because he does that through his music. He can put that in his raps. You know what I mean? He can put that on a song. He can like record it, release the song, and the story's being told there. Of course, we do other things, whether it's documentaries or just other things to like highlight what that story is. With a sneaker, you have to tell the consumer it's not through a song. Like we're not making a song called The Dreamer to talk about what it is. So it's like, and you have to grab on. The one thing about storytelling is you tell the story so that people could connect with the emotion in it, not necessarily the exact story, right? So the first real piece of storytelling we did was the announcement video we did with PUMA, which was around All-Star break, and when you watch that, you might not relate to not making your high school team and having to climb back and get better in basketball, but you can relate to the emotion of like being rejected from something and knowing you have to get better and putting the work in to get better and not letting that dream go and not letting that work go from like from the final goal. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. You know what I mean? So whether you're a basketball player, whether you're a football player, whether you're someone that failed your bar exam and you got to study harder the next time, whether you're someone that's trying to get a job, just to feed your family and somebody else is better at the job than you got to get better. Like anybody could relate to that feeling of like, okay, this is gonna take work. And when you tell that story, you have to find a way to be mindful or be good at kind of getting that emotion through more so than like the literal story. And that's where our Dreamville agency, we had, and again, thanks to PUMA for allowing us to do that. They allowed us to put the campaign together, and we use the same tactics we will use when it comes to music, when it comes to releasing an album, or when it comes to releasing a documentary, because we feel like it starts with the core of who we're speaking to. And once you could connect with them, then let them kind of spread the word and let them kind of spread the idea of what this is. And that's what that first video was. And even the one after that with the Master P voiceover, it's like people can relate to that emotion. Like, this guy is crazy. Like, he's not about to do what I think so I think it's about making sure you use the story to tap into the emotion or the feeling that you're trying to give off, more so than the literal story itself.
I think something that you just brought up is universal, like you were saying, right? Like, there's mad people out there that want to do all the fun stuff, but there's so many different steps that you got to take that you're not going to find out about until you're in that moment. And with that in mind, is there anything surprising that you learned through the storytelling and the process of making sneakers?
Yeah, I learned so much. I'm still learning a lot. Like I think with the team at PUMA, with Adam and Evan and Ashley, like I asked a lot of questions because to me, there's so much we don't know. Like we feel like we know what was gonna connect with people, but like even like material, like like I learned once the sneakers came through, like, oh, the black ones feel different than the white ones because it's just a different material. Like things that I would have never thought of, you know what I mean? Like things that and talking to different players, it's like, because every player gets their own like player edition that's kind of like molded to their feet, and understanding what players like and what's what they don't like, maybe, like just having an understanding of that. And then also the timing on things, because this sneaker was actually supposed to come out in April of 2020 for the playoffs, and then Corona hit, everything got pushed back. So we had to kind of be nimble and like move it to the beginning of the bubble, and then it was supposed to be 5 colorways kind of spread out, but because of Corona, they started coming like back to back to back, and then I got to learn a lot because thankfully Puma was like very like they were able to adjust and be like, okay, we're gonna have to adjust the time. I know that, just talking to friends, there's a lot of sneaker companies like they can't adjust on a move that quick. So that was dope to understand how that works, and then to to also be able to see what people like and don't like in a specific. We were thankful that we put it out, and we put out 5 colorways in the span of like, I don't know, 2 months or whatever it was, and all of them blew out, and we didn't even expect that, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because it's a basketball sneaker. It's not like we were making a lifestyle sneaker, even though it is lifestyle and people wear it out. I wear it out, but it's like, it wasn't like we were making a basketball sneaker, and for it to have that impact, that's another thing that I had to learn. Like, okay, how do you promote a basketball sneaker to people? Because that's a whole different aspect than what we're used to. So yeah, and then I sit in on Zoom calls with Cole and Jeremy and Jacob, who are the designers, and like watch him go through, like, with them, like, oh, maybe we put this fabric here, and then we talk about colorways. Like, it's just so interesting. It's like being a kid learning a whole new field. And so yeah, I definitely still have a whole lot to learn, even learning like how to deal with partners and different, and like, sales and stuff like that. Like, still a lot to learn, but it's fun because you get to meet a lot of people that are passionate about what they do along the way, and they teach you, like saying on them design calls is a lot of fun for me. Just being able to have some input here and there, and just seeing how passionate Cole gets about it and how passionate Jeremy and Jacob are about it. So I love that aspect of it.
So why is now the right time to bring back this specific colorway?
Because when it first came out, I don't think we knew what to expect, and it just sold out in minutes. And then, it went crazy, and people wanted it back. You know what I mean? And I think, it wasn't like we put out 100 pairs. We put out a lot of pairs, and it just sold out so quick. And then also, people really love the sneaker just to play basketball in and to wear. And so to me, it's like, why rob the people the opportunity to get the sneaker, right? Because it's cool to put out a sneaker and it sells out real quick, and it becomes the hype, and it becomes talked about, and then it's like you can't get in. You got to go to StockX and pay $1,000 for it. But it's also cool to make it available for everybody. You know what I mean? And make all the kids that want it to be able to get it, because at the end of the day, that's what you make it for. You want people to have it. You want people to have the stuff that they like, and we feel like this sneaker and the product is incredible. So it's like, you want people to have that. You want people to play basketball, and you want people to wear it out when they go, out with their friends, and to rob them of that experience, because it sold out so quick, it didn't feel right.
All right. Which J. Cole song properly describes the RS Dreamer?
Ooh, that's a quick question. Man, that's a good question. Put me on the spot. I'm gonna say, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm just gonna say Sideline Story, the song. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the energy of that song, always represented like trying to make it, and like, how do I make it? Like, how do I get off the sidelines? And I feel like, the RS Dreamer, it's like the little engine that could, like, like the rapper that came out not with a lifestyle shoe, but with a basketball shoe, with, PUMA hoops is like an upstart company that came through and just hit the scene in the basketball scene. So it was like we were like the little guys trying to penetrate a game, and we did it. And now it's like, it's like getting up off that sideline. So Sideline Story, I would say. And Sideline Story just has a lot of dreaming aspects to it, and a lot of that feel. So I'm gonna just say Sideline Story.
Sideline Story is a confirmed classic. One more salute to Eve for coming through and chopping it up and dropping all those gems. And just a little bit more info on the RS Dreamer. So this is a sneaker that has knit on the upper, it has synthetic overlays, has the nice Dreamer logo here on the heel. So after the logo here, you see this base that the RS Dreamer sits on top of. It's a dual foam compound. So you have the Pro Foam midsole, and then you have the RS Foam here in the midfoot. That's the basic breakdown of the RS Dreamer. One more salute to Ebe. Thank you for watching The Soul Connection. I'm Max Talk.